dices, pounds yam, and makes smoothies in seconds. All for just 364,950 naira only. And that's not all. You can get the ShopX Premier Kitchen Collection in 2 easy payments of 182,475 naira. Place your order now and we will deliver the entire collection for free anywhere you are in Nigeria. But hurry, this exclusive ShopX TV offer is for a limited time only, so call now while stocks last. The following was a paid presentation from ShopX TV.
Hello, welcome to Politics Tonight, where we dig and go beyond the headlines for informed analysis of major political stories in Nigeria. I am Precious Amayo. The chairman of the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, Muhuyi Magaji, has denied claims that the agency is being used to witch hunt the former governor of the state and national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje. Tonight, our focus is on the lingering political crisis in Rivers State, and my guest is Caleb Fubara. He's a writer and political affairs analyst. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. The political crisis rocking Rivers State, that's majorly between former governor, now FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, and incumbent governor Siminalayi Fubara, is not showing any signs of abating. Week after week, faction loyal to either men throw word arrows at each other with the aim of battling for control and supremacy in the state. Tonight, let's get some perspective from the governor's namesake, Caleb Fubara. He's a writer and political affairs analyst. He joins me now virtually from Rivers State. Good to have you join us.
Good evening.
Good evening. There is now a twist in what's going on in Rivers State. We're now hearing from also the former governor, Peter Odili. What's your take on the recent statement made by the former governor, Peter Odili, declaring Governor Siminalayi Fubara as the leader of the PDP in Rivers State? At the same time, we're also seeing Honorable Meka Woke and Chidi Lloyd declare former Governor Nyesom Wike as the leader.
Well, ordinarily, the statements from the former governor, who more or less is the father of Rivers politics today, if you ask me, I would say it's somewhat overdue. But you see, at some point, elders will always step in to tell the younger ones that bitter and hard truth. It doesn't matter what anyone wants to say. The only reason why Odili himself was the leader of PDP at that time, when he was governor, was simply because he was the man in the saddle. At the point Odili left, Amechi became the governor of the state. It was something you don't argue. It naturally fell on him. Wike came and just ran the last 8 years. I'm sure this issue of whoever is the leader, PDP as a party has it as a convention. It's just like you have the president today, and you want to say you are the leader of the party. So it's a statement that is quite timeless, but if you ask me, a little overdue. But whichever way, the fact that the man whom everybody seems to be ascribing their political milestone to has come to say, this is what it is. The man who is the governor of the state is the leader of the party in the state.
Initially, what we saw was former Governor Peter, because you are saying that, look, his statement is long overdue, but what we saw was that he played a mediatory and reconciliatory role between Wike and Fubara, especially at that meeting at the presidential villa, where we understand that that peace accord or peace agreement was signed. But the fact that this crisis has now prolonged to the point that there is now some sort of schism between the former governor Odili and Wike, what is responsible for the current escalation of the crisis?
All this while, like I said, Odili has always ensured that the river state he is living in now as an elder statesman enjoys some level of peace. Odili, like you rightly mentioned, tried to settle this matter in his own way. It's as simple as, oh, the former governor, who is now the FCT minister, you must recognize the fact that you are no longer the king. There is no denying anywhere that Barrister Nyesom Wike, the former governor of Rivers State, was the greatest human factor in the making of Siminalayi Fubara as governor of Rivers State. That we acknowledge. Nobody argues that. But the truth of the matter is, at the point that you have met the king, you allow him to reign. You don't suffocate him. Like you said, from behind the scene, as an elder, he did his best. But since the thing keeps recurring, somebody has to speak up. And so he has taken it upon himself to make that declaration so that the world will hear that the man who is the leader of PDP in Rivers State is the governor of the state.
So there are some that will say, Mr. Fubara, some will say, look, and you also just attested to the fact that the former governor, Nyesom Wike, midwifed the emergence of Fubara as the governor of Rivers State. And of which we've also heard Governor Fubara, consistently acknowledging Wike, as, his Oga in quotes, which is, Oga here would mean like a boss. Wouldn't that be wrong to say that, look, if somebody midwifed your emergence as governor, wisdom and humility would demand that you recognize him as a leader of your party?
It is not in contention that Wike assisted him to become governor. There's no two ways about that. But the issue in contention here, see, the man called Wike, that is the FCT minister, was smart enough to recount this whole thing. You see, the greatest thing that has happened to Wike should thank God that he was able to make Fubara his successor. In fact, he should be grateful to God. Because you see, all these other people who are now shouting, making all the noise, give them one day in government house, and they will not take the list of what Fubara had to endure within 5 months. Till today, the man hasn't still told anybody what it is. The only question he asked is, what is my offense? And as we're talking, nobody has said, these and these are the things you have done that have run foul of the Constitution. Because it is not a banana republic. It's not about my ego. It's not about how you feel. It's about a system, an organized system that is run on authority. You derive that power of becoming the governor from the Constitution. And the Constitution clearly spells out what it takes, the process for which a governor can be impeached. Right? So if all those things are already in place, and then you put a man in office as a governor, you will allow him. The truth of the matter is, Wike, as a smart politician, was able to recount the story 48 hours after what happened here on the 31st of October. We didn't hear from Wike. But when Wike came up, Wike started telling the world about structure. And you will ask yourself, is it like an estate that Fubara now wants to take from Wike, his former boss? Or are we talking about human beings who can be part of the party today and choose to go to some other party? What will even bring us to talk about structure 5 months after election? just barely 5 months in office. We're not talking of any election. What does anybody even need the structure for at the time? So structure was just Wike's clever way of taking his own side. But we all know that the man virtually tried to activate the governor. The governor was more or less in tatters, right? I am telling you that all these ones that are his apologists today, not one of them will stay in that office 24 hours and take the list of what Fubara took from him. But that doesn't mean that we will just abandon history and make it look like, oh, Wike did not play any role. Wike, like I said, was the greatest human factor that God used in making Fubara governor. But it is not also within his rights to say on which side of the bed the governor should wake. That would be like asking for too much. Imagine a situation where virtually all the commissioners, from what we have seen so far in the cabinet, were nominated by Wike. And so because of that, he could tell them to resign. The same people who said they resigned on personal grounds were the same people who, oh, because the tide has changed, all of them go back. So everything that is happening in Rivers State, that must happen in Rivers State, will be at the whim and caprice of one man. That's the problem here. Let's say you are the kingmaker, but you must also recognize that somebody is the king. It could be your son, your biological son, it could be your younger brother, but you must recognize that he is the king. Fubara is the best thing that has happened to Wike because Wike himself knows. That was why it was very difficult for him to decide. Do you know that 48 hours to the time PDP's primary, the man was still thinking if he was doing the best thing because he knew what he has done with power. This is a man who said he wants 100% loyalty from his commissioners. Now you have commissioners whom you've appointed, you've nominated to work with a man, and then their own loyalty is with you.
And let's talk about let's talk about those commissioners and those who are working in this government in Rivers State. There are reports that during the week that Governor Fubara had publicly stated that some local government chairmen in the state are showing him some level of disrespect. He's also been challenged by a commissioner in his cabinet as well. What exactly is stopping the governor from calling these men, calling these men out and putting his house in order?
That is where you see a man with maturity. You will see a man with the right presence of mind to occupy that exalted office. You see a man who can absorb, right? The governor could just decide to do those things you have asked me why he hasn't done them. But this is a man who has conscience. He knows where the problem is coming from. He knows that whoever that is even insulting him is insulting him like a puppet that is on string and somebody is pulling the string from somewhere. So it isn't even about these people. Okay, now it's a case of, oh, he said the governors did not sack the commissioner, if you remember. The commissioners resigned. Now, tell me how those men who said they resign, if they have principle, if they have honor, will now say, oh, because there was a trust. And then they are coming back to work. The question is, in fact, this is what led to my writing that open letter to Mr. President. It's as simple as accepting that these things are not working. But it must not come from the governor. The governor still respects the fact that we all worked, and then I am in office. These are the people my boss nominated to work with me. For him, it's still like that. Only the FCT minister knows his problem with the sitting governor. The distractions. Do you know that Rivers State today would have been like what it used to be 2013, 2014 if the governor had tried to assert himself as governor of the state? It takes all the mudslinging because he believed that what matters most is the peace and security of River State.
Mm. And let's stay there. That you said what he believes that what matters the most is the peace and security of Rivers State. Let's now talk about the achievements of the governor since he came to office.
Well, if you ask me, I would say the governor's greatest achievement is the fact that he has refused to fall into his ex-boss's trap, because Wike simply wants to call him out, right?
And I mean, that cannot, just a minute, Mr. Fubara, that cannot be, and I understand that in your perspective, just a minute, I understand that in your perspective, that's an achievement, but I'm talking about what has he done for the people of the state in terms of infrastructure.
First and foremost, that should be counted as his greatest achievement, that Rivers people are still sleeping with their eyes closed, with him as the chief security officer of the state. One. As he came into office, he was barely 2 weeks in office when he signed a project that has been on the drawing board for over 16 years. A 200 billion naira Port Harcourt Ring Road to decongest traffic. A project that is linking 6 local governments. It has never happened before. It's happening the first time. That project, from what we hear, was conceived under the ill-fated Omehia's government. From that time up through the 8 years of Amechi, down to Wike's 8 years, nobody talked about it because of the humongous sum involved in carrying out that project. But Fubara, because it is one project that Rivers people need, he went into it. And as I'm talking to you, work is going on. Apart from that, the governor, with all the distractions, is currently reviving the Songhai farm. I don't know if you've heard of this Songhai farm that was left moribund all this while since the Amechi era. The governor is presently building a 10-kilometer road that is linking Indorama, where they call Indorama, Agboncha, Oyibo, Ebubu, to the east-west road. The governor, as I speak with you, was one of the first persons to roll out buses as palliative the moment we had this removal of subsidy regime. As I speak with you, the governor, as he got into office, did what 3 successive administrations did not do. Paid off, he has started paying the arrears of gratuities of people who have retired some 10, 15 years back.
All right, Mr. Fubara, let me come in here because you know, you wouldn't. I'm sure you know that TVC has a lot of presence in Rivers State, and we've done extensive documentary on Rivers State. And that project you mentioned earlier, saying that neither former governor Wike or his predecessor did, that project. We know that that project was started and by the Wike administration and completed by and commissioned by the Fubara administration. But I also wanted to ask you about the House of Assembly. Just a minute, please. Hold on. Okay. I also wanted to ask you about the House of Assembly, which is what a lot of people, the challenge that a lot of people have. The fact that that House of Assembly was demolished, and people are thinking, look, you demolished a National House of Assembly, and now you have to build it back. And that perhaps, it just amounts to waste.
It does not amount to waste because, first and foremost, that House of Assembly, from what we know, has some structural problem. But that's not even it. Let's face it. The Assembly was blown, that is the chambers, was blown on the 31st day of the 30th night of October. First thing the following morning, just look at this nexus. Those who bombed the assembly were not apprehended, even when the place is just opposite the place, the River State headquarters of the police. But do you know what? About 6 a.m., let's assume that somebody threw a bomb here, and then you don't know about it. Will you be the next first person to move in there? But by 6 a.m. the next day, these assembly members that are loyal to Wike were at that same assembly that was bombed the previous evening. Before you could get any report about it. Think about that. You didn't know what happened. An assembly was bombed. What will give you the courage to go into that assembly the next morning before dawn to say you are sitting because you want to impeach somebody? Right? The man does know the logic that people naturally will want to believe that, oh, because it is where the man was supposed to be impeached. So the people who bombed the assembly, that was not the issue. That was not what happened. Those who bombed the assembly were those people who still had the courage to go into that assembly even before dawn. Right? But having bombed the assembly, there must be that chamber, that legislative chamber in River State must be there. And it is up to the government of the day to review that place. That was not the first time. The other time that assembly had similar problem, Wike was at the center of it. If you remember, in 2013,
I will not let you make those kind of speculations.
No.
We will go by just a minute, Mr. Fubara. I'm winding down now. We will always rely on police investigation and reports before we make any claims. And so, for that reason, I'm out of time. Actually, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time and analysis, writer and political affairs analyst Fubara. Thank you for your time. And that's it. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But remember, you can watch a repeat broadcast of this episode at 12 a.m. You can also get in touch with us on X at TVC News NG. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at TVC News NG. And we're also on YouTube at TVC News Nigeria. I am Precious Amayu. Thanks for watching.
Is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Tired of pans that scratch and stick? Or cookware that takes up valuable space in your kitchen and are of little to no use? Cooking used to be fun, but now it just feels like a chore. Introducing ShopX Gotham Hammered Copper Collection, the perfect cookware to upgrade your cooking experience. The Gotham Hammered Copper Collection features a super durable ultra non-stick surface. Eggs stick to other pans, but with the Hammered Copper Collection, they slide right out. Incredible! Plus, the Cool Touch solid cast handle makes it safe and easy to cook even the hottest dishes. It's oven safe up to 500 degrees, so bake this beautiful chicken suey pizza and serve it straight from the pan. Or this tasty, delicious cake that will have your whole family asking for more. Any recipe can be made in these pans, and then it wipes clean with ease, so cleanup is a breeze. Plus, use your hammered copper pan to make homemade pancakes that flips and slips right out. Or make mouth-watering jollof rice or even fluffy pounder with ease, because nothing sticks.
I needed a cool way to keep up with me. The Gotham Hammered Collection has been a game changer. No more burnt meals or hours spent scrubbing pots.
The Gotham Hammered Copper Collection is now available in Nigeria exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying over $490,000 for a collection of pans that are not even non-stick. Call the number on your screen now and get it for just 364,950 naira. This incredible ShopEx offer includes one 8.5 inches fry pan, one 10.25 inches fry pan, one 1.4 liters saucepan, one 2.4 liters saucepan, one 4.7 liters stock pot, one stainless steel steamer, 4 tempered glass lids. But wait! If you order now, we will upgrade you to the Premier Kitchen Collection at no extra charge and also include one cookie sheet, one round baking pan, one square baking pan, one loaf pan and muffin pan, and one all-in-one food processor that blends, grinds, chops, dices, pounds yam and makes smoothies in seconds. All for just 364,950 naira only. And that's not all. You can get the ShopEx Premier Kitchen Collection in 2 easy payments of 182,475 naira. Place your order now and we will deliver the entire collection for free anywhere you are in Nigeria. But hurry, this exclusive ShopEx TV offer is for a limited time only, so call now while stocks last. The following was a paid presentation from ShopEx TV.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, where the black gold continues to flow and fuel Africa's largest economy, where the line between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Oil, gas, politics, development and community issues all are highly valuable commodities in the Niger Delta. How do they combine and how can they work together to spawn a new era in the Niger Delta?